It's another day in America, and sadly, it's another school shooting in America. And as the families of those who departed are mourning their losses, and certain victims are battling for their lives in hospital, the politicians, as usual, are politicking and pretending like this is just something that just occurred for the first time. It's not the first time it's happened. It's actually quite frequent. In America, it can't seem to go through 3 months without there being a school shooting or a school-related shooting. Honestly, and it's sad. For years we talked about gun control, but we all know the politicians are not going to enforce gun control. Why? Because much of America do not want gun control. They want the right to possess arms. They want the right to protect their lives and their property. Why is that so? Because the police, they do not have faith in the police. The police are ill-trained, ill-manned, ill-equipped. There's there's pretty much zero accountability in the police. Not to mention the fact that it's terribly structured. And I honestly, it's sad to say, but this is the truth. Now, the problem right now we have in front of us is the fact that schools in America are no longer a safe environment for learning. So here's the solution, and I'm going to just jump right into it. There's a thing called home learning, and which people really need to consider. And I'm not talking about your normal home learning that everyone looks at like maybe it's something that is just segmented for the rich and the wealthy. No, I'm talking about home learning where your teachers from schools no longer need to be inserted in geography in order to teach. We have advancements in technology. We have apps like Zoom, and we have so many video calling apps and so many video conferencing apps that are used by big corporations and all sorts of businesses, whether small, medium, or large businesses. So you cannot tell me that in the year 2024 that cannot be used for remote learning. It has been used for remote work, and I strongly believe it can be used for remote learning. In fact, it was actually used by some schools during the whole COVID crisis for remote learning. I have worked in a school in West Africa where that was used, and it was used to perfection with very little issues. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time people start considering this whole home learning thing. Yes, the politicians are going to come out, they're going to kick against it because, as usual, kids putting their ass in schools benefits them in one way or the other. But let's ask ourselves one question. Which is more important? Your children leaving your home and going to an unsafe environment, or your children actually being in a safe, secure environment, aka the home, or someplace maybe you and couple parents have rented out for them that is safe and secure? Which is much better? At the end of the day, the government is going to come out and try to counter this and say, oh, there's a thing called truancy, and if your child doesn't attend school, then hey, guess what? We're going to take your kids away from you. But yes, legally, the government can actually take your kids away from you if they don't show up in school. But you know what the government can't do? Is send your kids or send anyone below the age of 18, if I'm not wrong, and I do stand to be corrected. They can't send anyone below the age of 18 to war. And I'm sorry to say, but most schools in America have become war zones. They are unsafe. They have become war zones. So unless the US government change the age of forced recruitment to the military, forced enlistment to the military, and say, oh, from the age of 4, we can enlist your child in the military, then I'm sorry, they cannot force you to send your child to school. They cannot force you to send your child to an unsafe environment. If your child is home learning, then that is absolutely fine. The priority of every government is to make sure that their citizens, both young and old, are actually allowed to thrive, live and thrive in a safe environment. I'm sorry, but they have failed in that. And when the government failed, I'm sorry, the people need to find a solution. And homeschooling, for me, I feel, is the solution to this problem. But the souls of the departed rest in peace. And may the good Lord, and I don't know what religion you're in, but may God, may Allah grant you all the fortitude to bear the losses. Thank you for listening.